The topic for my speech is high fructose corn syrup and its effects. I'm going to start by asking you to think about the basic food items you usually keep in your kitchen. Things like processed meats, salad dressings, mayonnaise, cookies, crackers, bread, most baked goods, juice, soda, ice cream. All of these things have high fructose corn syrup in them. The first line of defense against death is your very own body. Making what you choose to put into it very important and can be the difference between a long, happy life and a shorter, unhealthy one. I myself weighed over 300 pounds after having kids, and clearly that's morbidly obese. But I also had very high blood pressure, and when I decided to lose the weight, I thought the more I knew the better, so I read and read about ingredients that might cause weight gain, and amongst the pack was high fructose corn syrup. But high fructose corn syrup has many more negative consequences. High fructose corn syrup is a sweetener similar in taste to sugar, regular table sugar. Regular table sugar, however, is equal parts glucose to fructose, while high fructose corn syrup is 45% glucose to 55% fructose or higher, some as high as 95% fructose, which are those little hard candies, and the higher the fructose ratio, the more potent the sweet. Glucose is a simple sugar. Fructose is a fruit sugar, but also can be found in sweet corn. It's more convenient to handle than regular table sugar, but the more likely reason it found its way to our marketplace is that it's cheap. It's far more cost effective to use in products than sugar is. And we all know the almighty dollar has at times been more important than the public's health. Because high fructose corn syrup is in so many different foods, it's hard to keep track of individual consumption, but its introduction has caused an increase in obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. In 1970, 15% of Americans were obese. In the early 70s was when high fructose corn syrup was introduced. Now, the obesity rate for Americans is 33%. It's about doubled. Princeton University did a study of the consumption of high fructose corn syrup on rats and found that its accessibility caused significantly more weight gain than regular table sugar did, even when the total calorie intake was the same. The study also found long-term consumption of high fructose corn syrup led to abnormal increases in body fat, especially around the abdomen. The rats became obese by drinking high fructose corn syrup, but not by drinking regular sugar. Metabolic syndrome is a group of risk factors like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and high cholesterol that can lead to heart disease, stroke, or diabetes. In that same Princeton study, rats with the high fructose corn syrup diet showed signs of metabolic syndrome such as the abnormal weight gain, unhealthy increases in circulating triglycerides, and bigger fat deposits, again, in the stomach. The rats with access to the high fructose corn syrup diet added on 48% more weight than the rats with the normal diet, again with the same calorie intake. In 2012, a study was done on the commonness of diabetes by USC and the University of Oxford. It was found that countries using high fructose corn syrup in their food supply had a 20% higher occurrence of diabetes than countries that didn't use it. And that was separate from obesity and separate from the intake of regular sugar. With the negative effects of high fructose corn syrup, why still consume it? I've read articles claiming it's addictive, some claiming it's as addictive as cocaine. One study was done to see whether different ratios of the fructose to glucose can produce differences in self-administration and connected neural and physiological responses in rats. Because high fructose corn syrup has a higher ratio of fructose, it took less contact to the higher ratio to cause both neuro and physiological changes linked with addictive and metabolic diseases. The rats were given a lever to control how much syrup they'd receive and would work much harder for the more concentrated syrup. The syrup intake increased over weeks, with the rats showing a binge type of pattern with their administration. The syrup was also found to alter transmissions of endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, which triggers the pleasure part of your brain, causing you to want more. As my time comes to a close, I want to reiterate some of the information I've shared. Since a high fructose corn syrup has seen an increase in consumption, so has the cases of diabetes, obesity, and metabolic syndrome, ultimately reducing the chances of a long, healthy life. The possibility of becoming addicted is also a reality and should not be taken lightly. I understand it's disheartening and discouraging when the cost of a candy bar is cheaper than fresh whole fruits and vegetables, but I encourage you to make a healthier choice, and I also encourage you to read your food labels. Thank you.